Hey there, everybody. Welcome. This is our review of Snowfall Season 4, Episode 4. Like, how good is this season? I'm not trying to be like, Mr. Snowfall hype master here or anything else because, not every episode of this show has been my favorite, but I have really enjoyed these first few this time around.
Yeah, I have really loved this season, and this particular episode is my favorite so far this season.
I think there's just a lot of really good stuff in here. We've got like everything Franklin is going on with, the dark side of what he's doing.
Yep.
Things are getting messier.
Stuff with Sissy is so good. I loved everything with Leon, with Wanda. This was such a good episode.
We have a lot to talk about here. Big surprise at the Snowfall review, like when is there not? But if you guys enjoy this conversation, remember to subscribe because we are here talking all about the show every single week to see how in the world Franklin is going to get himself out of the latest situation. Always seems to figure it out. But yeah, please hit that subscribe button to stick around here at the channel.
All right, where do you want to start? You want to start with Leon and Wanda? Because, man, everything that has happened with them, especially in this particular episode, so good. We're just getting a lot more layers to how Leon's really sort of feeling about what he's doing. He knew there would be consequences. He's a hard guy. He's been able to get through a lot of this stuff of seeing how things are affecting people. He was working with Franklin and put this drug on the streets. It has hurt some people around him. Wanda especially has really been hurt by this. And this is someone that Leon cares deeply for. And you can see how much guilt he has on him whenever Wanda is there, because you can see that he feels responsible. And I'm not saying that she doesn't have her own responsibility for taking this in the first place. We all have a choice. That's fine. But at the same time, that choice was put there because of Leon and Franklin. So the thing that I like about this episode, and what I actually like about this show in general, is Wanda. Gail Bean is amazing playing this character, but I love the Wanda character because she keeps this show honest. I really love Breaking Bad. I'm a huge fan of it. We both really love that show a lot. But one of the things that show was missing, that Snowfall has gotten exactly right, is that you don't get to see this side of it. In Breaking Bad, it was sort of all about Walter White, and he's building this empire and rolling around in his money and getting more power, and we're all like, yeah, right? Okay, so we have some of that obviously going on in Snowfall as well, with Franklin, everything he's doing with Sissy. But Wanda keeps us honest because we have that side of things, that you see what is happening to the people around them and in the community.
It is heartbreaking. I think that the story for Leon right now is one of the best that I've seen with this show, because it's like, I've always wanted to champion Leon as a character. Like, I've been right there. It's felt like story-wise, there's always been something missing, like another gear that this character could go to, and I just never felt like he had the perfect story. And I think what is going on right now with him is so interesting because he's got this conflicted relationship with Franklin that we don't know exactly if it's going to be resolved. There's the guilt that he experiences, and that stuff with Wanda selling her tooth, and that just was just like a gut punch to the heart.
Yeah, the last episode, there was like a very quick moment when she pulled out her tooth and she saw herself in the mirror, where it was almost like I know I'm starting to hit rock bottom and I still can't do anything about it. It was really heartbreaking. And then to see her at the beginning of this episode trying to sell her own tooth and then go up to Leon to try to sell this to him. Him actually just giving her money to sort of maybe help her keep some of her dignity of not having to do that was really telling of Leon and how much he holds guilt about what has happened to Wanda. So good. The storytelling in this episode is so good.
Well, it's all really about, like, this episode to me is a lot about Leon's humanity, because it starts with the scene with the tooth. And it ends with this scene where Leon thinks he's, getting revenge on, Scully's people here, and he's engaging in this shootout, not knowing that in the process of this, he ends up, I don't know. I don't know should we say this child is dead or just like severely mortally wounded, but it doesn't really matter. He ends up really just like devastating the lives of these, a kid, an innocent, somebody who had no choice but to be in that place at that time.
Yeah, this was a tough episode for Leon. I mean, the look on his face, and this episode was about Leon facing sort of the consequences of his actions over and over and over and over again, because not only did he run into Wanda with the tooth at the beginning, then she gets shot because someone is trying to shoot him. So now he's also watched this happen to her. Then he goes to get revenge, and, because again of his actions, now this child is dead or almost dead. It doesn't even matter. But the amount of guilt that he feels with this, it is really good to see these different layers of him, that even though, he's a hard guy and he's doing all these things that he has to do, he's still a human and he still feels stuff, and it's good to see that.
It's a reminder, Leon is not a sociopath. Leon, he doesn't take pleasure in a lot of the things that he does, and I'm going to be disappointed if there aren't real consequences to this episode where all of this doesn't bring about some sort of change in his thinking or his actions or how he relates or experiences Franklin. Like, there's got to be an evolution that comes around with this. He can't just sort of get more revenge when his actions are really the thing that causes, what happened to this poor kid at the end of it. He's the one who did this, so he needs to find a way to sort of change it.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering for a while in season 2 a little bit if it was going to be Franklin that was going to be sort of on this journey of seeing what's happening in the community around him and starting to feel kind of bad about it or anything like that. But it's clearly on Leon, and I like that surprise.
Yeah, it's been a nice sort of flip, because that wouldn't have been the way that I thought it was going either. And here,
I love shows that surprise me. I mean, we've been reviewing shows for 10 years, not just here at the channel, but over on our website. And to have a show surprise me is real few and far between.
And they've done it over time, too. It wasn't just like they just yanked the rug out from under us.
It was done really smart.
Guess what? Leon has the most of a conscience now out of these characters. But Franklin's story, I mean, what makes it so interesting now is Leon's going through all of this. Franklin is like, making these vows to Sissy about sort of what he wants his plan to be. He is experiencing some of this pain that's going on in his community as well. He's not immune to it. And his thinking is, let's expand. Like, let's just try to find a way to make this business now bigger.
Yeah, so that he can fulfill his promise to his mom, get this business wrapped up, double up, get as much money as he can get together so that he can give it to Teddy and end everything that is going on. He does want to keep that promise. But I just, of course, don't know if that's how it's really going to work. I mean, when he went to Teddy to talk to him, he said, could be 2 years, could be 4 years, but any number I give you is just going to be a lie. So that's what it is. Money will end this, but, how much money? I can't really give you a number.
And that's the problem that he's put himself in. It doesn't really matter whether or not he wants to escape this world. It matters that he is just continually diving himself more headfirst in this world.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is does Franklin really want to leave this world, or is it because he is very close to his family, his whole family's involved in this, so he feels obviously an obligation to his family to leave it, but in his heart, does he really want to? And that's where we get into Sissy and how interesting this character is and how much I like what they've done with her this season, because we've seen her go on a journey as well, where for a while she wasn't even talking to Franklin unless he was going to leave this. Then she was kind of like, okay, well, maybe I need to get in this with him so that we can wrap this up and get him out of it.
Yeah.
She is so good at this, and everything that she's been, all her wheeling and dealing with Davis and everything that's going on, she is so good at this. And I think she may not have realized just how good at this she is.
If Sissy wants to actually be a part of this business long term, like, it would be legitimately bad news for a lot of the other people, the competitors, because yeah, she's smart, she's fantastic, she's intuitive, like, she's got so many of the different skills required. But I think she thinks once we get enough money and enough resources together, we can try to apply our powers for good rather than just ways that could damage the community. And I think Franklin likes to feel like he's doing things that are helping the community on some level, but whether it's intentional or unintentional, I think there's a part of him that's just telling himself things that he wants to hear, as opposed to sort of looking at the reality that Leon is seeing and experiencing.
Yeah, and it's also interesting to see how good Sissy is at this, but that it doesn't matter. She hasn't sort of fallen into the Walter White trap,
No.
where the better he got at it, the more he was feeling himself. And, you know, we saw her feeling herself a little bit at the meeting where she was like, oh, we'll be as invisible as this tangerine. I was like, oh man, that's so good. But having that scene afterwards where she was talking to Franklin, she is still very much, we're getting out of this. You made me a promise. When are you delivering? Do not forget. Let's get this done.
It's such an interesting back and forth with them now, because, you know, I don't think she's really fully in Franklin's head. I don't know if anybody is fully in Franklin's head. And then you have someone like Jerome, and Jerome's not getting enough screen time these last 2 episodes, but him just sort of, you know, is expansion really the right idea right now? And it is sort of like, well, Franklin, yeah, you have moved up in the world, but you have also moved into a world where you have Manboy, who we know is highly ambitious.
Yep.
Scully, who is a problem. I think we can say that with confidence.
Yep.
Like, he's not out of the woods within his own city at the moment.
No, he's not.
And then to add on everything, you have Teddy, and you alluded to that conversation earlier. And I think another sort of interesting part in all of this is maybe it does take years, but I think we saw, whether it be in the shootout last week or tonight, Teddy, I think he does probably wonder on some level, what is all of this really even for anymore? We're killing people, and maybe we're stopping a war, but we're also causing more violence and chaos stateside in the process.
Yeah, and you can see that it is starting to weigh on him a little bit, even with the guy coming in being like, hey, I'm just kind of doing a wellness check. You can see that he's not holding up that well right now.
Teddy's lost a lot. Like, he's lost people he's loved. He's lost people he's cared about. We had to sit through a full season of Teddy's storyline that wasn't that great, mostly all about it. But, you know, it has gotten him to his place where I think he's asking these real, serious questions. I'm going to be honest. I didn't enjoy the Teddy story this time as I did the past few weeks. Maybe that's just because this past week we had Teddy and Gustavo going completely just crazy on all of these people.
No, and for me, I mean, the stars of this episode were Leon and Wanda and all the stuff that was sort of going on there. And just Leon's story through this whole episode was so solid. It was so good. And I mean, now Wanda's in the hospital, and he's paid to make sure she stays there till she is clean. Listen, I root for Wanda really hard, that I really want to see her get on the other side of this. And I feel like I'm probably going to have my heart broken on this. What do you think the odds are this time?
This time, I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm not saying Wanda's going to make it through this entire show or anything like that, but I think if she is going to be sort of a beating heart of Snowfall, I think they want her to sort of be around as some sort of reminder of what everything does, of what this life is, of what it can take away from you. I think having her sort of be a living, breathing reminder, especially since we're not exactly getting a lot of Mel these days, we kind of have to have that exist somewhere else. That's why I'm hopeful.
She keeps us honest.
She keeps us honest. Let's keep ourselves honest here for a moment and address the Irene of it all, because I don't think either one of us are huge fans of the story, but clearly it's going somewhere because they keep bringing it back.
Yeah, we're 15 minutes in, and now we'll talk about Irene, because this is a story that we have seen multiple times on other shows where a reporter comes in and tries to break the story or change everything that's going on, and it never ends well for them. And I don't think any of us believe in any universe that she's going to be the savior on this show. Nobody's really rooting for Irene to break this story open and hurt Franklin.
I think the purpose of Irene, at least now that we've sort of seen Moreno pass along this information about the CIA's possible involvement in all of it, I think the idea now, and this is just my guess, is that it's going to show Franklin and Teddy, oh, look, you guys may want to pretend a lot of the time that your problems are singular, whether it is, Franklin in the community, Teddy dealing with all the hobby nonsense that he's been taking on as of late. But here is somebody who threatens the two of them as sort of an institution, and maybe this is the sort of thing that gets sort of Teddy questioning, how much more do I want to be involved in all of this when my whole career is going to be blown up even more than it already is?
Yeah, for sure. Do you thumbs up or thumbs down on Irene being dead by the end of the season? I think she's going to be dead.
I feel like she's either that or she's fired or she's gone somewhere else. Like, I am not confident, because if Irene is going to be the person who destroys everything, this would be the final season of Snowfall. And
yeah, I just can't see. Once Teddy finds out about this, Irene is dead.
Teddy basically just went. I don't even say he went full like Matrix, insert Schwarzenegger, action hero here on just all of Fuentes' crew with Teddy and Gustavo. Do you think Irene is going to be able to take down Teddy and Gustavo, the sudden killing machines at the heart of Snowfall?
No, she'll be taken to the train station for all of you Yellowstone fans out there, and she will not come back.
Yeah. Also, quickly, leave Alton alone, Irene. Like, he's had enough of you. I think he's just like, really, we gotta do this again. I'm busy. I gotta get this guy's orange chicken. Like, what? By the way, I want some orange chicken now after watching this. But okay, what did you guys think about this episode? Is Snowfall Season 4 delivering like it's delivering for us?
Yeah.
Let us know. And if you like this video, subscribe for more. Give us a like. Support us further. Check those links to the store as well as our Patreon. And we'll see you here next time.